I've said multiple times that Donald Trump is an idiot, and that's because he is. One of the things that he shows how unbelievably incompetent he is with the zero tolerance policy that he inflicted on the United States for 2 months before he had to backpedal. Now, there were a number of issues that came out with this. Children, one baby as young as 8 months old was taken from its mother. Children around 3, 5 years old taken from their parents. Yes, some were older, but some were also 3 and 5 years old being put into a cage. The images that we saw were a mixed bag. Some of them were released by the federal government, which was the best images they could possibly find, and they were devastating. Some were a lot older, going back to Trump's era, Trump's reign. Not Trump, I'm sorry. Going back to Obama's reign, and some even went back to Bush's reign. And the reason why these images from Obama and Bush came up is because we had so little to go on. And the best that the Trump administration could put out was already devastating. Pile on top of that judges had to step in and tell ICE and tell people in these detainment camps, running these detainment camps, stop drugging children just to make their lives easier. It makes an awful, inexcusable situation so much worse. When it comes to the immigration policy in regards to crossing the border and illegal immigration, it was already a fairly successful operation that was going on. Now, you had the Flores settlement, which was children could not be held for longer than 20 days. So if a child did turn up at the border by themselves, then within 20 days, Obama's administration would know what to do with them because they actually thought ahead. Trump's administration does not do that. So there have been a couple of dates set by judges saying, look, you have to reunite all of these children by this particular date. Of course, every time that's been said, the administration has panicked because it is so rife with incompetency, no one is keeping track of anything. At no point when they stole these children away from these parents did they bother even taking a name. It came out a little while ago, and I brought it up on this channel, that the administration was going to these parents saying, hey, you know we stole your children. Well, if you buy this DNA kit, even though you have nothing, we might be able to find your children. Do you have any money? Well, here's the thing, the latest update. Now, bear in mind, this is numbers from the Trump administration, so it's going to be incredibly favourable to the administration, like everything they do. 410 children are effectively orphaned because of Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions. Now, the reason for this is because while these children have still been in cages, their parents have been let go. So, in Obama's era, which was not a perfect era at all, but in Obama's era, in particularly with this subject, families would come, individuals would come. If they weren't children, they would come, they would be processed, they would be let go and told to come back for certain court dates. Now, 80% of them came back. That 80% does not include the people who missed one court date or missed two court dates. And obviously it doesn't include the number who disappeared. So that's 80% who came back for every single court date. That is an overwhelming success. 80% is a huge number. It is a triumph, showing that a system realistically works as good as it's going to get, considering the border with America and considering that America was founded on immigration. That's what Obama had. So the adults, while being treated piss poorly, are still somewhat going under that guise, although Trump is going out of his way to completely get rid of that and is even picking up legal immigrants as well as people who have been legally in the US for up to a year. A story came up a little while ago about some guy in New York who was picked up, but technically within 100 miles of a border, so that's why ICE picked him up. You can start to see why people want to get rid of ICE because of this. But back to the topic. That's what happened with Obama era. They would come, they would get processed, they would get let go until to come back for these dates. Trump's era is slightly different. They come, they don't really get processed, they get given the boot, but not with their children. And the spin that the Trump administration is putting out is, well, how do we know they're even their children? Have you travelled with a child? You know how much easier it would be to get into a country if it was just you. And the worst part is, Trump's base is actually going along with this. It is repulsive. And the simple fact is, the latest update that we have is not only has Trump's administration, Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions, made 410 children into orphans, they are now passing the blame to the ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberty something. I will correct myself down below. Essentially, they've made this mess. Donald Trump has made this mess. And like every other time in his life, he's saying, no, someone else cleans it up. I did this, but no, you clean up my mess. That is the mentality of the man who has gone bankrupt 6 times. That is the mentality of the man who every economic specialist is saying is going to crash the economy. In fact, it's recently come out that a report the Trump administration is trying to suppress is saying, look, everything Trump's doing is going to destroy us. The projection that we had under Obama was pretty good, but that's running out. We're now in trouble. We need to sort this out. But no, that's not actually what the Trump administration is doing. It's more of how can we pass the blame, which is exactly Trump's MO. He never takes responsibility for a single thing in his life. He comes out, he lies, he passes the blame, and then he disappears onto the next moronic thing that comes into the idiot's head. 410 children are paying the price because a complete moron managed to get one of the most powerful seats in the world.